challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
My name is Jason Alder, and I'm the driver of the number 77 Ligier JS F3 car. Being a race car driver is cool and all, but it's really nothing when you're not utilizing it for a good cause, like spreading the word for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It does a lot for me personally, and does a lot for the FDA.
Some of the symptoms of type 1 diabetes are sudden weight loss, vision changes, frequent urination. So remember to check, don't guess, it may not be the flu, and that education is knowledge, and knowledge is the power to help save lives. Go to dfda.info to check out Rocco's story. Thank you and have a great day.
Welcome to the F4 U.S. Championship powered by Honda, as we're at beautiful VIRginia International Raceway for the Andy Scriven Memorial race here at VIR. My name's John Fippin. I'll be commentating for you today. Jonathan Green is down on the pit lane. He'll be giving us information from the pit lane, and we'll also be hearing from Cooper Becklin as our expert commentator. Cooper, a driver in the Formula Regional Americas Series, and he'll be with us just a moment. He is out on track, believe it, right now. He is doing a hardship lap for his FR car, his race coming up a little later this morning, and so he's going to do a quick lap after some overnight repairs on that machine. So Cooper's going to do that hardship lap, and then he'll be sprinting up to our commentary box and will be joining us now. You're having a look now at the starting grid, and that is our pole sitter, the number 39 of Bryson Morris out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Bryson currently second in the points, only 14 markers behind our leader, Lockie Hughes. So Bryson starting his weekend off just the way he needs to do it. He needs to finish in front of Lockie Hughes and do his best to close that points gap. Lockie Hughes is the points leader. Moving on down the starting order, you're seeing the 66 of Ryan Sheehan. He will start alongside his teammate from the Crosslink Kiwi team in that machine. He's from Horseshoe Bay, Texas, near Austin, Johnny's hometown. Ryan Sheehan currently fourth in the points, only 9 markers behind the third place runner. It's a Crosslink Kiwi sweep of the top 3 positions as Gabriel Fonseca, the Brazilian from Sao Paulo, in the number 76 car, will start in the 3rd spot. Alongside him, Andre Castro, in only his 2nd start with us. He was with us earlier this season at the round at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, as he's done a part-time season, and he's back with us now at VIR, and he will start outside of row 2. Once the cars take off behind the Honda Civic Type R pace car with James Rogerson at the wheel, we will do a full grid rundown for you of all 19 starters in today's race. This is rounds 13 of the 18 rounds for the 2022 season, as we have 6 rounds to go with 25 points on offer for the win in each of those rounds. That means 150 points are still there as you get a good look at the 65 car of Noah Ping, who will start in 5th position. With those 150 points on offer, there are still, mathematically at least, 10 drivers who are still in the championship hunt. Realistically, that's going to narrow down as the weekend goes on. You can see Matt Christensen aboard the number 45 machine. He will start outside of Noah in row number 3. Matt Christensen, driver from Orlando, Florida for the Velocity Racing Development Team. He had a podium finish in his first season of competition with us back in 2021, finishing 5th in the championship at the end of the year. Just a few minutes away from the cars rolling off, and then we'll do the introductions for you. Getting a good look at Alex Berg in the 08 car. He starts 7th inside of row 4. Alex out of Buford, Georgia, not too far away. He drives for the Doran Kroll Racing Team, their only starter in this field. Alex, of some repute, born in Calgary, Canada. His father had a couple F1 starts with the Ocella team back in the day. Also runs a driving school up in his native Canada. Getting close to the countdown as we're hearing word from race control. We're just about to send the cars off. There's the number 10 car, brand new driver, Daniel Carra. Daniel making his first start with us. He's a Brazilian currently living in the Woodlands, Texas, a brand new team, Carra Origin Motorsports. His plan is to campaign a full season of the Formula Regional Americas Championship next year. And he's using these last two venues here at VIR and our season finale at Circuit of the Americas to get warmed up and ready to go. And he is qualified midfield, so in his very first start, that's a good way to get things rolling. The field rolling down the pit lane behind the Honda Civic Type R pace car. Let's introduce the field formally for you. Starting alone in row number 10 is the 09 of Madison Oust out of Mansfield, Texas. She drives for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. In row number 9 on the outside is car number 3, Michael Boyadzis out of Tampa, Florida for Jay Howard Driver Development. Next to him, his teammate, the number 7 of Al Mori, the fourth. He is out of Fortville, Indiana. Moving forward into row number 8 is car 55, Lucas Facuri, out of Sao Luis, Brazil. He drives for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Next to him from the single car Barker Racing Team is the number 12 of Ethan Barker. He makes his home in Houston, Texas. In row number 7 on the outside, number 25 of Jacob Bolin from Leland, Illinois. Jacob driving for the single car IGY6 Motorsports team. Next to him in that 7th row is the number 98 of Lucas Saint-Jean, a Quebecois from Lorraine, Quebec, Canada. He drives for Jay Howard Driver Development. In row number 6 on the outside is car number 9, Carl Bennett out of Yorba Linda, California for Gunella Racing. And alongside him, the number 17 of Tyke Durst. Tyke, a local driver from Cary, North Carolina, only about an hour from here. He also drives for Gunella Racing. Now for the top 10. On the outside of turn number 5 is car 4, Seth Brown from San Diego, California. He drives for Jay Howard Driver Development. And interestingly, our points leader starts in row 5 on the inside. Car number 6, Lockie Hughes out of Gold Coast, Australia, also for Jay Howard. Did not have the qualifying performance he had hoped for, so look for our points leader to work his way up through the field. In row number 4 on the outside, we already saw him on camera on the false grid, the number 10 of Daniel Carra, the new driver out of Woodland, Texas, making his first start for the Carra Origin Motorsports team. Next to him in row 4, the 08 of Alex Burr. We saw him earlier from Buford, Georgia. Alex drives for the Doran Kroll Racing team. In row 3 on the outside, we saw Matt Christensen, the 45 car out of Orlando, Florida, for Velocity Racing Development. He's currently 5th in the point standings coming into this 13th round. Next to him, his teammate Noah Ping from Buford, Georgia, the number 65 car. Noah currently 3rd in the championship, only 49 out of the lead and 35 behind second place runner Bryson Morris. In row number 2 on the outside, car number 8, Andre Castro, partial season with us this season for Future Star Racing. He is out of New York City. And next to him, the number 76 of Gabriel Fonseca out of Sao Paulo, Brazil for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. On the front row, on the outside, the number 66, also from Crosslink Kiwi, the Texan Ryan Sheehan. And your pole sitter, the number 39 of Bryson Morris out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee. As Maddie Oust already on track here on the warm-up lap. She has got the car rolling again, and she'll have to start from the pit lane. We're seeing as she came off the Horseshoe Bend. That's the Franklin Road, turn 11 and 12. Just a little too much acceleration as she was trying to warm up her tires. And she got off in the grass as the field still weaving back and forth as they make their way down the long back straightaway toward the Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers hog pen turn, which is down at the bottom of the portion of this race course they call the roller coaster. And another car off. The number 3 of Michael Boyadzis has looped it here on the first lap. We're going to do 2 pace laps with these drivers in order to give them an opportunity to get the tires warmed up. And already 2 drivers off track. Michael Boyadzis in the number 3 for Jay Howard. So he and Matty Oust, who are starting near the back. It's Michael once again dropping a couple wheels off. That was on turn 17. The Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers hog pen turn, the final turn on this racetrack. It's carried a little too much speed down the roller coaster as the field is heading around for their second formation lap. And then we'll line up on the front straightaway for the Formula One style standing start. 19 drivers. The drivers that fell off during the formation lap are required to come into the pit lane, and they will start after the field is released. They may not regain their position. In this case, Matty Alst and Michael Boyadzis both starting near the back of the field, so it won't be too much of a penalty for them. Matty had an incident in qualifying yesterday and damaged the car, so it could be that that car is not quite up to snuff. I don't want to take anything away from the Cross Lake Kiwi crew, who I'm sure thrashed overnight to get that car back together. But just offering that as perhaps a bit of an excuse for Matty to have that off-course excursion during her warm-up lap. See the field working their way up the climbing S's, the most popular spot on this racetrack among the drivers, as Michael Boyadzis has indeed gotten that car rolling, and he is making his way into the pit lane. Looking at the 98 car of Lucas St. Jean. You can see Matty Alst still off to driver's right there at the exit of turn 12, the famous oak tree bend, so named for an oak tree that was there at the inside of that turn. Sadly, that old oak tree was struck by lightning several years ago and had to be removed, but the name of the turn still remains. The field now approaching the roller coaster, a 130-foot drop as the cars take the right-hander that the safety car is just now entering. This drone shot does not do it justice. It is a very steep descent. And it's a little tricky for the drivers as the car unweights as it comes over that rise. And then they've got pretty much constant turning to the right and then back to the left again for the combination turn 17 and 17A, known as the hog pen this weekend, the Big Machine Vodka Spiked Coolers hog pen. And that brings them on to the curving front straightaway. Michael Boyadzis has taken his position on the pit lane. Crew members cleaning any grass radiators. As you can see there, we don't want these cars to overheat as the cooling radiators in those ducts on either side of the driver. As the cars now coming into position on the front straightaway, as they will be lining up for the start. Absolutely, the safety car bringing the field down the pit lane, as it looks like we're going to delay the start here to recover that car of Matty Alst. Apparently she is stuck in the grass and unable to get rolling. So we're going to take this opportunity to get Matty's car out of harm's way. So the safety car has brought the field into the pit lane. And we'll have one more formation lap after this, we're told by race control. Just getting those information from Scott Goodyear, our race director. He is in radio contact with all of the teams and letting them know that there'll be one more formation lap behind the safety car before we line up for the start. This is a 25-minute timed race. The time will start when the lights are extinguished to get the start on this one. And again, we're just waiting for safety crews to get to Matty Alst's car, stranded there on the inside of the Oak Tree Bend, Franklin Road Oak Tree Bend this weekend. Nadja Pollard, one of our pit marshals, walking down the grid line, letting everybody know that we're making ready to get restarted, just checking to make sure all the drivers and teams are aware of the situation. As we said, this is round 13 of the 18. We've had 4 venues so far this season. We started out at New Orleans, Louisiana at the NOLA Motorsports Park. Road America was our next stop up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And then to my home track, the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, just between Cleveland and Columbus in north central Ohio. Our last stop was at the New Jersey Motorsports Park. And then we have the 3 rounds here and the 3 rounds at our season finale at Circuit of the Americas in early November. this championship very much still in the offing, shall we say, as it is very closely packed at the front, with Bryson Morris only 14 points behind Lockie Hughes, who is starting much deeper in the pack than he would like. Lockie back in 9th position, not getting the qualifying performance he had hoped for. As we check his time, he was about a second and a half off the pace set by our pole sitter, Bryson Morris. So it will be an uphill drive for Lockie, as I can see his car right here below our commentary position, just in front of his teammate, the number 4 of Seth Brown from J. Howard Driver Development. Lockie Hughes with 4 wins already this season, including back-to-back wins in the last 2 rounds at New Jersey, winning rounds 11 and 12. He also had a win at Mid-Ohio and another win at New Orleans in the very first race of the season. Bryson Morris, only a couple wins, but he has 6 other podium finishes. In fact, he's got a string of 6 consecutive podium finishes. His win at Mid-Ohio at round number 7, and then he has not finished below 3rd for the 5 races after that. So 6 consecutive podiums that put him right in the hunt for the championship. Cooper Becklin has joined us here, finishing his formation lap, so we'll get him mic'd up. Cooper, there's going to be an echo in your headset. I apologize for that, but nonetheless, welcome. I'm glad to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Tell us about your hardship lap. The car okay?
Yeah, it was all good. We're just kind of breaking the brakes as we had problems yesterday, and we're making sure we got them fixed before we go out tomorrow.
All right, that's great to hear. Obviously, we're on a bit of a delay to start this one, as we had a car fall off up at the Oak Tree turn, and we're just waiting for them to get Maddie back underway. She's one of your teammates, of course, so you know that situation.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about you had a brief career in F4, starting the very first race last season before stepping up to the former Regional Americas Championship. Tell us about your perception of the difference between this car and the car that you raced this year.
These cars are very different. I mean, the turbo completely changes how the car works, along with all the aero that comes along with it. But, I mean, they all generally drive the same. I mean, a lot of the new car is just kind of faster everywhere. And just kind of learning how all the downforce works is kind of the biggest thing. But it's not too much of a difference, to be honest. I mean, it's a little bit. It's going to take a little bit to get used to. But, yeah.
Sounds good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I understand that you're starting college and you're there on an athletics scholarship.
Yes, I'm going to a community college where I'm from, and they invited me to go out and do track. So awesome. I'm going to go do that, see how it goes. Trying to go D1, but obviously racing kind of makes it hard. So
exactly. I understand, like, last night that you were having to double up with not only your car and race preparation, but doing some studying as well.
Yes, I was up till probably like 1 last night doing some school, and then woke up at 6 this morning to get out here and do this. So
yeah, racing is easy, right? You just show up with your helmet and go racing, right?
For the most part.
Yeah. I understand your parents own a winery up in Oregon, where you're from.
They do, yes. So we bought that a couple years back, and then my uncle actually owns a winery, and we own the vineyard. So we give him some grapes. He has grapes, and he makes us some wine.
Okay, sounds good. So we're still waiting for Maddie Au's car to be recovered. We can see one of the safety vehicles entering the pit lane right now, and it may have her car on the hook. So hopefully we'll be able to get this race restarted. Yep, that's the word we're getting. So the safety car rolling away, and we'll do one more formation lap before this 25-minute race gets the green flag. So we apologize for the delay, but we are about to go racing. As you can hear the roar of these Honda engines making their way around the track. Cooper, you've been involved in races, I'm sure, throughout your karting and your racing career where there's a delay at the start or whatever. Does that create a psychological problem for you? Do you have to get re-psyched up to get ready to race?
It did at first. It's happened so much now for me that it's kind of not like second nature, but it's not too big of a deal. But yeah, it definitely can cause some little mental preparation that you got to go through.
Understand. The track is dry here this weekend. I was here commentating on another race series a weekend ago where we had hurricanes and storms blowing through. It was really a very difficult situation. So the weather's been pretty much ideal here.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, the track itself has kind of been like washed away.
So not much rubber down.
Yeah, especially to start the weekend. But now it's all pretty good. I mean, the grass was a little wet, but that's just kind of a given in the mornings. But otherwise, it's all good.
Is the track pretty good for tire degradation? Do the Hankooks last well here, or are you having to be cautious not to overheat it?
We haven't gotten too much into that yet, but from what I've seen, it's not too bad.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, you're getting a good shot of the field as we see two cars now lined up. The number 3 of Michael Boyadzis, who spun off, and right behind it was the 7 car of Al Mori, also with an issue. So 2 of our J. Howard driver development cars will be starting from the pit lane. Al Mori qualified in 17th position, Michael Boyadzis in 18th, so they aren't being penalized at all for having to start from the pit lane since they were starting on the last row in any event. The field now clearing the Franklin Road hog pen turn. Turn 11 and 12. It's kind of a double apex right-hander right at the end of the climbing S's. Optima S's, we're calling it this weekend, as they exit this onto the longest straightaway on the track, 4,000 feet long. It's very undulating. There's a lot of up and down on that straightaway. As you can see, the pace car just now cresting the highest point in that straightaway. And then it's a downhill run toward turn 14, which is the beginning of the roller coaster. Then it goes back uphill in that braking zone. And that's pretty much a blind turn in at the top of the hill there for the roller coaster, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the straightaway, it goes downhill, and then it's kind of, you're just kind of hoping to make the turn, really, and then it goes farther down the hill. And even in the next turn, it's got a bit of a blind spot as well.
I don't know if you've ever driven the track out at Laguna Seca, but it's kind of the corkscrew in reverse. Instead of a left-hander, you've got a right-hander coming off the top of the hill.
Yeah.
All right, the field forming up 2 by 2. Safety car in the pit lane. As they're coming off the hog pin turn, the Big Machine Coolers hog pin, and it looks like we are going to go for a rolling start rather than a standing start because of the delays here. So they are coming around a curving front straightaway. They won't see the starter stand until just about now, and there's the green flag. Bryson Morris gets the jump as he's got about a car length advantage over his teammate Ryan Sheehan. He guards that inside line as they head down toward Mission Foods Turn 1, known as the Horseshoe, here at Virginia International Raceway. Side by side is Gabriel Fonseca and Ryan Sheehan for that second spot, but our pole sitter, Bryson Morris, out in front. Looks like everybody makes it through Turn 1 successfully. A couple of the J. Howard cars dropping back there in the early going. Through NASCAR, that left-hander, and now into the left hook. He's kind of give up a little bit of the apex there at that turn 4 to get a little better run into the lower S's, known as the Snake. We're calling them the Optima Aces. You can see the Optima signs there at trackside. And then into the climbing S's, a very daunting part of this racetrack. Every driver I've talked to, Cooper, tells me that's their favorite part of this racetrack, the climbing S's.
Yes, it's kind of hard not to make that. It's a flat out uphill, left, right, left, right.
Are you totally flat in the FR car?
Yes, we are totally flat.
Nice. As we've got a car off, and that's one of the Velocity cars. But able to get back on, and diving down to the inside is Lockie Hughes, and he makes contact. Lockie Hughes starting deeper in the pack, our points leader. And it looks like he and Daniel Carra have come together right there at the Oak Tree Bend, as the rest of the field working its way up the hill. And if they're not able to get started, we may well go to a yellow flag. Got a replay now of that, as you can see. Off course. And then there is the 2 cars behind. I misidentified that. That is the 08 of Alex Berg side by side with Lockie Hughes. So you get coming back to live action here. We're still under green. No indication from the race control that we're going to go to a yellow flag. Ryan Sheehan sets the fastest lap of the race from second. As we've got a good side-by-side battle there. The number 8 of Andre Castro going side-by-side with Noah Ping. As the 6 car of Lockie Hughes with damaged rear suspension, his race is run. This is a disaster for our points leader. Not the way he wanted to start this weekend. And if Bryson Morris can maintain his position near the front of this field, he will take over the points lead at the end of this event. He's only 14 points back. And if he scores in the top 3, he will. And the full course caution has been called, as the safety car will pick up the field so that we can get course workers out to attend to the stranded car of Lockie Hughes. I don't know if Alex Berg was able to get restarted, but we'll keep an eye on that. Man, that's a disaster for Lockie. That's certainly not the way he didn't get the qualifying performance he had hoped for, and now it's complicated by the fact that as he was coming up through the field, he's knocked the car off course.
Yeah, that can really change how the championship turns out after this race for sure, with Bryson only being 14 points down. Yeah,
exactly right. And Noah Ping right there in 3rd spot in the 65 car, only a further 35 points back, so this will pay well into both of them. As sadly, Lockie Hughes, our points leader, you can see him off there, driver's right at the exit of the Oak Tree Bend, turn number 12. This weekend we're calling that the Franklin Road turns 11 and 12. That's the southernmost point of this racetrack. As the drivers work their way down the straightaway, James Rogerson aboard the Honda Civic Type R pace car. These, of course, are Ligier JS F4 chassis, designed by the late great Andy Scriven, who we honor this weekend. It's the Andy Scriven Memorial. This track is the closest to the home of Ligier Automotive North America, where these cars are built, down in Denver, North Carolina. Max Crawford and his crew are here with us this weekend as another of the Jay Howard cars in the pit lane. That's Seth Brown in the 4 car. So it's been a tough start of the race for the Jay Howard teammates. As Seth Brown in the pit lane with the rear engine cowling off. You can see the 45 of Matt Christensen. He was the driver that had that off at the top of the climbing S's coming through South Bend, turn number 10. And that stacked up the field behind him. And Alex Berg and Lockie Hughes going side by side came together, and Lockie getting the worst of it. Alex Berg also has not come by. So Seth Brown in the pit, Lockie Hughes off track as well. Lucas Ficuri and Matty Oust did not come by to start this one either. Michael Boyadza starting from the pit lane, just now coming by start finish. As you can see, the tow truck has arrived at the scene of Lockie Hughes' stranded car. So only 14 cars are still running. Michael Boyadza's the last in the number 3 car. So a quick rundown. Bryson Morris is your points leader, is your, I will say, maybe your points leader by the end of this race, but he is the leader of this race, second in the points coming into this round. Ryan Sheehan in the 66, his teammate on the Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports team. In 2nd spot, Gabriel Fonseca in 3rd. So it's a Crosslink Kiwi sweep at the top 3 positions as it stands right now. Noah Ping at the number 65, who's currently 3rd in the points behind Bryson Morris. He is 4th in the order. Andre Castro, again doing a part-time season with us this year in the number 8 car, is 5th. Matt Christensen, who had that off, that sort of set off the chain reaction that knocked Lockie Hughes out of the race, is in 6th spot. Carl Bennett, the Thai American in the number 9 car for Gunello Racing, is in 7th spot. Lucas St. Jean, the Quebecois, the number 98. Luca in the 98 car driving for Jay Howard Driver Development. He's the highest placed Jay Howard driver in the field. Jacob Bolin in the 25 in the 9th spot. The Illinois native for the single car IGY6 Motorsports team, making their first foray into FR competition. They've had, or F4 competition, I should say. They've had an FR car for Hayden Bowlesby. And they are dipping their toe in the F4 waters as well. Daniel Carra, the debutante, in a points-paying position, in 10th right now in that number 10 car. Tyke Durst, the local driver, just about an hour away down in North Carolina, in 11th. Ethan Barker, in the 12 car is 12th. And Al Mori in the 7, and Michael Boyadzis in the 14, the last cars running. So the safety car with the field in tow, bringing them around. We talked a little bit about these Ligier JSF4 chassis built down in Denver, North Carolina. The power plant, of course, is our title sponsor, Honda. It is the K20 4-cylinder, 2-liter double overhead camshaft engine. It is the same power plant that you would find under the hood of that safety car, the Honda Civic Type R. The only difference between the engine as it is run, the configuration that is run in the Formula Regional Americas cars, which Cooper drives, as well as these cars, is that for the F4 cars, the turbocharger is removed. And even with that, Honda Performance Development has to detune the car in its normally aspirated mode in order to hit the FIA mandated ceiling of just under 160 horsepower. I believe it's 158 to be exact, is the horsepower limit for the F4 chassis. The engines, other than that, are box stock. There are no changes to the internals. They come right off the engine assembly line near Marysville, Ohio. HPD then takes them over, fits a dry sump lubrication system, and reprograms the ECU. And that's it. There's no other modifications. The engines are sealed. The teams can't make any modifications to them. They run in stock configuration. We saw one of the drivers, Michael Boyadzis, as he came back into the pit lane, the crew members immediately going to the tunnels on either side of the car to clean the grass clippings out. These engines and cars run right on the edge of cooling, and although it's not a hot day this morning, it's quite cool here actually in the 50s. On a hot day, these engines can overheat, so even a little bit of grass clippings blocking those radiators on either side of the driver can cause the engines to overheat. So they will immediately go and make sure that there's nothing blocking those radiators if a driver does a little agricultural racing off to the outside. Tell us about your studies at Clackamas Community College. What are you hoping to major in? I know you're just a freshman, but do you have any sense of where you'd like to go?
Right now I'm studying business. Just because I feel like for me it's kind of what I want to do.
Sure.
And then obviously with the track and field thing also. But yeah, right now I'm studying business.
High jump is your specialty, I understand?
Yes, high jump.
Got it. You're a tall guy, so I guess that's sort of is it still called the Fosbury Flop?
It is, yes.
I remember that back in the day. I'm old enough to remember back in the day when the standard procedure was to go over, face down rather than face up. So he sort of revolutionized the sport from that point. Yeah, excellent. Did you have any success high jumping in high school? Were you?
I made it to state all 3 years.
Awesome.
I got hurt the first year.
Ouch.
The second year, we didn't have a track season because of COVID. Third year, I won state.
Awesome.
And then the fourth year, last year, I was racing. So I qualified for state. I was number 1 seed, and then racing kind of came.
Yeah.
So.
Nice. Well, that's congratulations on your state championship. That's certainly an achievement you can be very proud of.
Thank you.
And it's nice that it helped you get a little scholarship to your desired college. That's great stuff. And racing is the kind of thing that I think everybody, and I'm sure yourself included, has dreams of making a career of racing. But obviously you're realistic, realizing that not everybody can get all the way to the top step of the ladder. So
exactly.
It's good to have a backup plan.
Yes, for sure.
You bet. Looks like we're getting ready for a restart as the field's still behind the safety car. I have not heard from race control as to whether we're going to go this time, and actually the safety car would be accelerating away from the field about now, and he is not doing so. So from this beautiful drone shot, thanks to our crew here at Greenlight TV for providing these fantastic images that you're watching on the stream. And the light's still on the safety car, so we'll be going around at least one more. Sounds like I'm hearing the conversation between the safety car driver and our race director, Scott Goodyear. And it sounds like we may go green this next time by. And Scott is asking James to pick up the pace a little bit. They're going to make it a brisk lap to try to get as much racing time in as possible. We're already halfway through the 25-minute time limit with just a handful of laps under green. Just now completing race lap number 4. Race director is in radio communication with the teams as we speak and letting them know that the plan is to go green next time by. Of course, if there's any delay in recovering the last of the disabled cars out on track, we could go yet another round of full course yellow. Cooper, I found this when I was commentating here last weekend. This track is very unforgiving of mistakes because of the topology. The track falls away from the edge of the racetrack just about everywhere. So if you drop a wheel off, you're going for a ride.
Yeah, I did that 3 times yesterday in the exact same turn. Hit the wall yesterday, which is why we were doing that lap. Because I went out, I couldn't get the car stopped, and went off twice again in the exact same spot. So it's definitely not preferred to go off here.
Of course.
It's definitely one of the worst tracks to go off on with all the grass and then the wall.
Yeah. Fortunately, the barriers for most of the track are pretty far away, so there's a lot of grass runoff basically. But there are some areas right up there at the south end of the racetrack at turns 11 and 12. The Franklin Road turns 11 and 12, or known as Oak Tree, where unfortunately the barrier is pretty close to the racetrack. So if you overcook it, and it's easy to do because you're just flying up the hill here, getting through turn 10, and obviously you want to absolutely nail that second apex because it leads on to the longest straightaway. So you're really pushing to get every little inch out of the car you can, and it's easy to get it all wrong. Did you drop a wheel off here, or was it earlier that you?
I have dropped a couple wheels there, but I went off in turn 18 or 17B 3 times.
The hog pen, gotcha.
Down the hill. So.
Yep. The hog pen, obviously named when this track was originally built. There was a hog pen on the outside of that turn. This track has an interesting history. It was started back in 1957. And it was a very popular track for both professional and club racing, and then fell on hard times in the late 70s and was closed for a number of years. And then the current ownership, Connie Nyholm and her partners, purchased the track in the late 90s and absolutely transformed it. It is one of the most beautiful racing venues in North America. And it looks like we are going to go with the start as the lights are out on the safety car. That means a rolling restart here. It'll be single file. Bryson Morris has the field in command, and he can accelerate anytime from the apex of the last turn, turn 17. And he has done so. We are back underway. The 3 Crosslink Kiwi teammates, nose to tail, but right behind them is Noah Ping. And he drops out, trying to make a move on Gabriel Fonseca. Fonseca dives to the inside of his teammate, Ryan Sheehan. Fonseca with the green highlights on his car, Sheehan with the red. 2 more cars off. The 25 of Jacob Bolin and the 10 of Daniel Carra, the debutant, have come together there at the horseshoe turn, Mission Foods turn 1. But the field continues through the left hook. Hopefully those two can get themselves back underway, and we won't have to bring out the safety car yet again with 9 minutes remaining in this one. Bryson Morris has the lead over Ryan Sheehan. Noah Ping has moved up into 3rd spot, as you can see. Gabriel Fonseca back in 4th, and the 8 of Andre Castro in the 5th spot. Just behind Castro is Carl Bennett. Matt Christensen there in the 45 car, working at the tail end of the top 10. Bryson Morris hanging on to the lead right now as he comes into turn 11, the Franklin Road turn. In turn 12, a very important turn leading onto that long back straightaway, 4,000 feet. The length of this one, the front straightaway from the exit of Hog Pen to the braking zone for turn 1, the Mission Foods turn 1, is 3,000 feet. So 2 very long straightaways on this racetrack. Drafting is at a premium. And drafting is exactly what Ryan Sheehan has done as he pulls alongside his teammate as they come up the hill. Sheehan is going to go for the lead, and I believe he's got it. And Noah Ping thought about trying to take second spot, but fell back into third. So now the 66 of Ryan Sheehan, the Texan, with the lead of this race. Bryson Morris in second. There's Noah Ping in third. Both Morris and Ping currently second and third in the points respectively, looking to make up some ground on Lockie Hughes. In the rundown toward turn number 1. The 39 of Morris guarding that inside line. Noah Ping trying to go around the outside. Gabriel Fonseca right there behind him as they bend it into turn 1. Sheehan still with the lead as they exit the horseshoe bend. Mission Foods turn 1. As they're working their way through turn number 3. Climbing the hill. As we understand, we're on the final lap of this one. The white flag has been shown. And the field working its way through the lower S's known as the Snake. And Ryan Sheehan taking the lead at just the right time and stretching his advantage now over Bryson Morris. Both of them will do it. As Noah Ping in the 65 car, giving chase in third position. Coming off of the Oak Tree Bend is the 66 of Ryan Sheehan. Bryson Morris will inherit the points lead with this second place finish. Ryan Sheehan will close the gap. He was only 9 points behind Noah Ping coming into this round as they head into the roller coaster for the final time. Down the hill into the Hog Pen turn comes our leader, Ryan Sheehan, taking the lead on the last lap. And into the pit lane as the checkered flag has been shown. Ryan Sheehan, your winner. Bryson Morris in second. Noah Ping finishing in third. Jonathan Green has rejoined us here in the commentary box. I'll turn it over to him as I head down to the podium.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, John. Yeah, good stuff by Ryan Sheehan and Noah Ping and Bryson Morris. A bit of a start race kind of affair. We started early with bit of drama, and then we went to a rolling start just for safety, and Morris led for most of it, but right at the get-go there, right at the end there, Ryan Sheehan takes his second win of the season after taking his first last time out at New Jersey. So we'll let John head down to the podium. Your thoughts?
Much racing, but I mean, I like to see that 3 of my teammates are in the top.
Yeah,
5, so.
No kidding. What I like about Ryan Sheehan is also is his patience. It's one thing to be in the right place at the right time, which he was, but he didn't do anything too aggressive and mess up his race. And we've just seen Lockie Hughes go off. So, you know, I'm beginning to see the maturity now of Ryan Sheehan, the kid from Texas on the 66, and it's paid dividends again.
Yeah, I feel like he made the right move at the right time, right there.
Exactly. Gabriel Fonseca, who started in the top 3, he finishes 4th. Andre Castro in 5th place, so everybody shuffles down a place or 2. And as you can see, they're starting to get out of the cars now.
They didn't tell us. We didn't know.
So 3 races in all in the weekend. This was the first feature race, and they are now in victory circle. There is Ryan Sheehan getting out of the car. Let's take a look at some of the highlights then of that first race. Well, we got underway with a rolling start, and it was the 39 of Bryson Morris who led the field into the S's for the first time. The field started to spread out, and there were problems for several of the drivers going off. That brought out yellow flags, so it was stop, start throughout most of it. But at the front, Bryson Morris did a really good job of holding off the number 66. of Ryan Sheehan, then another off, this time at the horseshoe at turn 1. And that was the move for the lead as Ryan Sheehan coming down the hill in the closing stages to get ahead of the number 39, and it was the right timing. Patience paid off at VIR, and Ryan Sheehan takes his second win of the season. Let's head down to John Fippin. He's now down and repoed at the podium. Down to you, John.
Thanks, Johnny. We're here with our winner, Ryan Sheehan. Ryan, you left it late, but you made the pass on just the right lap, my friend.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the last lap. We had the restart. I had a pretty good restart, stayed in second. Then got just a really good draft on the back straight and just made the move. Yeah, it was a bit of a hectic race, but glad to come out on top.
Exactly. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny.
So, celebrations all round. I think it came as a shock to Sheehan, but the timing was right. You've got to be ready at all times in motor racing. Sometimes it can be confusing, but it wasn't for Ryan Sheehan. He took the lead at just the right time there, and that gives him victory in race 1 of 3 here at VIR, with 1 more round to go after VIR. We'll take a short break here from Virginia International Raceway. Join us in a moment.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
My name is Jason Alder, and I'm the driver of the number 77 Ligier JS F3 car. Being a race car driver is cool and all, but it's really nothing when you're not utilizing it for a good cause, like spreading the word for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It does a lot for me personally, and it does a lot for the FDA.
Some of the symptoms of type 1 diabetes are sudden weight loss, vision changes, frequent urination. So remember to check, don't guess, it may not be the flu, and that education is knowledge, and knowledge is the power to help save lives. Go to dfda.info to check out Rocco's story. Thank you and have a great day.